I have this brand new start to my YouTube career. I should really take this opportunity to try and do something new and revolutionary. But there's only so many times I can say that Eminem's kart racing for the Wii is an underrated gem that belongs in any esports tournament. One day everyone will understand. One day. Hold up! I have a great idea! I could try reviewing Sonic games, yeah. That's got to be new and a unique idea that nobody else has ever done before on this platform. Yeah. Perfect! Sonic. Where do I even begin with this little blue cockroach? As you all know by now, the Sonic series has had its ups and downs over the years, blah 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 blah. Look, I'm not going to bore you with the cliche opening where we discuss how shaky this series has been over the last decade, and instead we're going to go deep dive into what made him great in the very first place. As in this video, I'm going to take a look at Sonic the Hedgehog for the SEGA Megadrive. Back in 1990, the video game scene was very one-sided. A small indie company called Nintendo, you might have heard of them here or there, had a major control over the video game market at that point in time, as they had major hit after hit in the mid to late 80s. Nintendo's clever marketing after the video game crash in 1983 allowed them to create a home entertainment system and release video games for it, which went extremely well. Fast forward back to 1990 and they were still the top dogs in the industry, but even though they were at the top, the video game industry's technology was improving at such a fast rate and more newer, detailed, powerful systems were being made. So I can probably already hear you asking, what does this have to do with the blue guinea pig that goes fast? Well, be bloody patient, I'm getting to that. Even though Nintendo was the top dog, other home consoles did exist alongside the NES, made by other video game companies. One of which was Service Games, or as you know them, SEGA. As back in 1986 they made the amazing SEGA Master System, which was relatively successful but didn't have a chance against the NES. But SEGA, always being way ahead of its time in terms of hardware, made the second ever 16-bit console back in 1988. At this point, you probably know that SEGA wanted a piece of the top dog pie, so they needed to up their game and try to be noticed more by the public. SEGA needed a new mascot, as the one they currently had at the time, Alex Kidd, wasn't really going to grab the attention of the general public. So back to the drawing board they went. After going through many different designs and concepts, they finally reached their very final one. A blue hedgehog named Mr. Needlemouse. And then that was changed soon after to Sonic. He was perfect. He had the iconic similar styling to Mickey Mouse, but also wasn't too childish in design, so it appealed to teenagers. Very smart. Sonic was unleashed onto screens on June 23rd, 1991. So, I hope you enjoyed that rather brief cut-down history lesson on how the Blue Man came to be. And now we're on to the part most of you guys came to watch. The opinion on Sonic 1 is split into two parties. One party says it was a great start for the Blue Blur, and the future of the game's built off this one. It's a genuinely good solid foundation. And the other party goes into the opposite direction, saying that was a rough start for the Blue Rat. I'm in the opinion that this was a great starting point for the franchise. Sure, if you go back and play it now, I'm sure you find some odd choices in the level design and overall gameplay style, but for a first game, I really think it wasn't that bad of a start. All of the Sonic staples are here: rolling, slopes, hills, momentum, badniks, bopping music, and a great art style. It's easy to pick these apart and compare it to the later entries, but you know, that's like comparing Tesco's own crisps to Walker's. They get the job done and was perfectly fine up until you had Walker's, but once you tasted the better brand, you notice issues with the store-bought ones, you know, could be a bit stale, taste could be a bit better, you know. Now we move on to the story and overall gameplay of this game. Dr. Ivor Robotnik lands on South Island and starts turning its inhabitants into robots called badniks. His main goal is to find the 6 Chaos Emeralds. Yes, only 6 this time! And try to take over the world with the Emerald's power at his side. Obviously, we cannot have that, so seeing as his friends have been turned into badniks, it's up to Sonic to save the animals of South Island. There's 6 main zones with 3 acts apiece, and one last final zone, which is just the final boss. At the end of every third act, you face off against Dr. Robotnik in one of his Eggmobile mechs as he tries to stop you from thwarting his schemes. After the boss, you open a big capsule, freeing the animals inside, and just move on to the next zone. It's as easy as that. So, you know, it's just a classic bad guy did something bad, good guy goes stopping kind of story. But that's no big deal, especially for the first game where the story isn't that important.
Hey! Stop it! Stop it! Okay. Alright.
In order to get the quote-unquote good ending, if you can even call it that, you need to go after the 6 Chaos Emeralds. In order to do so, you need to finish an act with a minimum of 50 rings as a humongous chunky boy of a ring appears and sends you to a special stage. I always felt bad for Sonic in these stages, as spinning around, being bounced everywhere cannot be good for his stomach. Especially after having his diet of chili dogs, man, I can't imagine the mess that will make. It's a fairly standard obstacle course. Get through it and you snag an emerald. The only thing you actually need to look out for in these stages are the goal circles, which doesn't really make any sense in hindsight as they boot you out the stage when you touch them. That's weird. Sonic's control is super simple in this first outing. There's no spin dash, no peel out, no insta shield, and no drop dash. It's as simple as hold left to go left, hold down to spin, that's it. I honestly love the simplicity of this game's control, as it allows anyone to pick up the game and know how to play it without looking at a manual guide. It allows the player to learn on their own, which is perfect in a risk and reward gameplay style like Sonic. The presentation in Sonic 1 is mostly, and I say mostly, a colourful ride that looks straight out of a classic cartoon from the late 80s and early 90s in terms of vibrancy and style. It really makes Sonic fit into his own world, which is really key. The many different zones you'll be traversing through are Green Hill Zone, Marble Zone, Spring Yard Zone, Labyrinth Zone, Starlight Zone, Scrap Brain Zone, and finally, the final zone. Like I mentioned before, one of the main issues people have with this game is the level design. Sonic's gameplay and even marketing was all about his speed and momentum, so it's always staggered me why by the second zone, the level design was really Mario-esque. Sonic 1 really only has 2 zones that incorporate speed, which are Green Hill and Starlight. I also would have put Spring Yard in there, but the amount of stop and go slow sections and all the ball badniks, I'd call it more an honourable mention. The rest of the stages are just stop and go blocky stages, which are polar opposites to the stages I just mentioned. But the stage I have the most issues with is Labyrinth. Ooh, don't get me started on Labyrinth. This stage is filled with the most trial and error spikes, slow movement, bad gimmicks, and it's also home to one of the worst Eggman boss fights in my opinion. But damn, you might be saying, at least it's only 3 acts like the rest of the zones. Scrap Brain Act 3 would like to have a word with you. Whose bright idea was it to bring back Labyrinth Zone, but in an even more trial and error way? This stage is one of the worst in the entire classic Sonic lineup. The only good thing about it is that if you know the specific route, it's over in a matter of seconds. Man, I needed to get that off my chest because that stage is not good. But now, I know you've listened to me ramble on about what I personally think of the game, but I want to know what the Sonic fandom think of the first game, as I think that's really important to know. So, to the internet! Off I went to Discord servers asking left and right what their opinions of Sonic 1 were, and I actually got some responses which was kinda cool. So here we go, I'm just going to read through some of these and honestly give my thoughts on it, because I think it's cool that they've taken the time out of their day to message me. Sunky says, a great way to start the franchise off. Music is a 10 out of 10, I love the gameplay and stages, and it was a game changer to the console war as it was different. Plus, it's just fun. Just John 43 says, Sonic 1 man, we take it for granted. I feel the series has moved on from the abstract art style and more into realism. Such an important game. They may have not gotten everything figured out for the perfect balance, and they won't until the third game. It laid the foundation for what Sonic was. And Green Hill, such a well-designed level we also take for granted. The foundation for open Sonic level design. Everything about it was special, and you could tell that beyond the marketing, it was a quality product Sega was genuinely proud of. No wonder they showed it off at the Expo side by side with Super Mario World. Sonic was eye-catching, cool and inspiring, from the art direction to the colours to the speed and the music. A masterclass of design in every way. And here we have Gamer Blake. It being the first Sonic game in the series, it presents the framework for a promising series while not quite hitting the right notes with some of its stage designs, notoriously Marble and Labyrinth. Sonic Beyond says, with it just being the first Sonic game, it was a surprisingly good start, but it's really primitive compared to the much better classic Sonic games such as Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Visual looked great, although the level design could use some work, as the difficulty spike is stupid. Sonic lacks all of his other abilities like the spin dash, except jumping and rolling, which is hard to get back to if you're used to the other classic Sonic titles. This game does have some glitches like the spike glitch in Green Hill and others as well. Plus, this is the game that introduced the most iconic level ever, Green Hill Zone. Also, Sonic's character design is really cool and unlike anything else. But overall, the original Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis is a great introduction to Sonic, as it's an overall great game. So C says, I mean, overall it's a great game, there are a lot of issues with it, like the spike bug glitch, which can be very annoying once you first die by it. In my opinion, it's a great game, even with all the bugs. Like, come on, it was the first game to introduce the blue blur to us. Speaking of glitches, some of them are pretty well known for the OG release for Sonic the Hedgehog, like the camera glitch in Green Hill Zone. Sonic 1 is a great start of a franchise. It showcases what the character is about, has a basic plot, and the graphics looked amazing at the time. But looking at the game itself, it's a very lackluster game in comparison to the later entries. But that's nothing to be ashamed of though, as it set the foundation for the later games and got Sonic off to a running start. Without this game, we wouldn't have 31 years of entertainment from this series, and whether you're a fan of the games, cartoons, comics, or the movies, we all have to be thankful for this game. Man, this was a weird but honestly a very cool video to make. This is the first time I'm really diving into this style of content, so I'd love to hear what you all think about it and let me know if I can improve in any way. Any help would be grateful. And one last thing before I go, thank you all so much for 100 subscribers. This is insane. I've only really been on this channel for like less than a month now, and it's kind of insane how much it has grown in that time. And after everything that has happened with the old one, you know, the hacked and everything, I honestly expected to have a similar start to how I did before, which was very slow but steady. But you guys completely blown it out of the water, which is insane to me. So this is why I did this whole video, just for you guys. And whenever we do reach 200, 300, 400, I will be posting another review at each milestone as a thank you. I feel like you guys deserve it. You've got me to this point, so I need to give something back to you lot. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one, which should hopefully be Sonic 2 if this goes well. So take care.